Hello, mommies, and welcome to season 1, episode 4 of Postpartum with Priya. On today's episode of Postpartum with Priya, we are going to be talking about how postpartum depression changes your friendships. Now, disclaimer, I know the camera quality and everything looks a little different, but unfortunately, I lost my battery camera. I don't know how. I opened my camera and it was gone. So I have to get a new battery. So until then, we're using this phone. Cool. Actually, y'all, I'm working on getting on one of them, the cardboard things. I mean, not the cardboard, but the little cards, so I can just read off the card. So bear with me. I'm getting there. This is all new to me, and I'm learning by myself. The big question of this episode is, how does postpartum change friendships? I don't want to specifically say postpartum depression because I feel like any woman that has a baby or most women that has a baby changes after having a baby, and you just not interested in the same things. So I can speak about how it affected some of my relationships and my friendships, not relationships, but some of my friendships. First things first, I was in isolation for so long, and if y'all watched the previous episodes, y'all already know, like, struggling with different health concerns and them putting me on bed rest put me in a season of isolation. And no one was like coming to see me or anything, but I didn't take it no way because I mean, I'm not expecting nobody to come see me 24/7, but people were texting me, people were checking up on me, my friends um were still, trying to be there. I was keeping them in the loop of everything that was going on. I don't feel like I had anybody that wasn't there until probably after I had her. So I feel like once you found out you're pregnant, you change throughout the pregnancy, but you really don't change until you have your baby. Like, I feel like I wasn't even the same person I was when I was pregnant versus when I had her. Like, I thought I changed when I was pregnant, but no. Once I had her, it's like everything kicked in. Something in my brain just snapped, and it was like, "Your mom, get it together." But it wasn't like I was in such a bad place. It was just like, y'all know what I mean. If you're a mama, you know what I mean. The isolation part of it, though, it was really caused by me being high risk and just being away from people. So I got used to that. And then once she got here, it made me realize that I just wanted to be with my baby. I just wanted to be with my family. We were like, her dad is really active. We do really good together. So it's like, I just want to be with them. And no shade to my friends. I'm not putting my friends last or nothing. But he was also who I was used to. I was only used to the people that were physically there during that high risk time and me being on bed rest or whatever. So I kind of got used to that. Once she was here though, I let people come see her. I had some friends. No, I had two friends that came and seen her. The other ones just kind of like bought gifts, checked on me, made sure I was good. Um, One of my friends, he's a boy. Boys are a little different when it comes to babies. They don't really be like all mushy mushy, but he congratulated me. He checked on me here and there. Now, I struggled with this isolation so bad that, and before I say that, remember I said in like the previous episodes, my postpartum depression hit me literally a day after I had my daughter, and I didn't know why I was crying. But I'm drawing a blank. But okay, once when his family came over to my house to come see my daughter, because I wasn't just comfortable leaving out because she was so fresh, and this was like a week or two. They came over to see her, and I remember one time I went up the steps and I was just crying. I felt overwhelmed. It was too many people around me. Like, I had anxiety. I don't know if that directly came from the C-section, or I mean, I know it was postpartum depression, but I also did some research on the C-section stuff, and I hear a lot of women talk about dealing with anxiety and dealing with stress from just being overwhelmed in a way. So I don't know. I don't know how, like, the C-section. I mean, I guess it because it does mess with your hormones. Things change. So it's so crazy because that's just like when they say when you have a C-section, you have like the shakes after. Like, how does anxiety come from a C-section? I gotta do some little research on that one. I gotta do a little more research on that one. But yeah, I used to get really, really overwhelmed. And nobody was doing nothing. It didn't hurt me or nothing. Like everybody was having a good time, but it was just too much for me. I don't know. Like it was just too much with me being around people. So I kind of started spreading out the days with my friends. Like when my friends wanted to see her, I just used to be like, okay, his family is coming on this day. You can come like 2 days after that, 3 days after that. Like, give me a little bit of space in between because I'm not really comfortable being around anybody right now. And it was nothing that they were doing. Like the people, it's nothing they were doing. It was literally just me going through postpartum depression. And at this time, of course, it's considered the blues because she's fresh. But it was so bad for me. Like I said, this also was addressed in the last episode, in the last one or the previous ones. I struggled with just stepping out on the porch. I struggled with just having to go to a doctor's appointment. I was ready to go back home. And when I look back on that now, I really just think it came from me being used to that, plus the depression and my emotions being overwhelmed. It just kind of like, I don't know, y'all. I think it was just something I got used to. And with the depression, it triggered it more. Like it made it worse. So it's just like, I already haven't been around people. My hormones are even more enhanced now because my body's trying to get back to normal. I honestly do just feel like my emotions got worse postpartum because I didn't really try to face my emotions while I was pregnant because I didn't want my baby to feel that. But yeah, that caused the isolation with the isolation in general. I'm speaking in general, not just with my friends. The isolation in general, like I just I don't know. I can't really explain outside of that, but I think that's just what started it. And like I said, being around people, let me see. Being around people triggered me a lot to the point where I was like hot. I used to get hot. I used to get jittery. And like I said, that one time I had to step away. Now, this is another way I feel postpartum affects or having a baby affects friendships because I wasn't interested in, even to this day, I'm not interested in the things that I used to do. Like, I don't know how to, well, I know how to explain it, but to the person that didn't go through it, they don't understand that. Or even someone that may have had a baby or didn't and didn't change. Those things are not really talked about. And people don't really understand it. So like I had a friend, we used to always be outside, like we used to always be out, we used to always have a ball, we used to be racing and doing all this other stuff, just living on the edge, living life on the edge. That was my daredevil friend. And he used to want to do those same things postpartum. Now, one night I did, but it made me realize that this is not what I'm interested in no more. But I had to tell him, like, look, I know we used to be racing and speeding and doing all that, but I got a baby that I'm living for. I can't be out here playing with my life no more. And he was very understanding, but there were moments where he like still did it. So it was just like, okay, now that's not respecting my boundaries. And me and him talked about it. He will tell you now, I will not get in his car no more because I don't even play with my life like that. Like, not saying I ain't care about life before my baby, but y'all know the changes that come with it. You got somebody you living for. So it's just those little things that change. Like, I always say my baby brought me closer to God. She introduced me to God. I was already a Christian. I was already into my Bible. I was already doing these things, but it got even more to the point where I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped clubbing, I stopped being in these areas that I used to be in. And a lot of friendships cannot take that. When you change for the better, people love to bring up the past. People love to say you're acting funny. People love to just look at you sideways when literally I'm just not that person no more. And that's how I say it affects those friendships because a lot of my bonds were built off of me doing those things and I'm not there no more. Like, one of my friends, we went out together. We went out to a little restaurant. It was cute. And she was like, you getting a drink? It's happy hour. I was like, oh no, I don't drink no more. She was like, oh. But I also have said that before having the baby, I used to be like, I don't drink no more. Then I end up drinking. But this time it was serious. Like I was months in without a drink. Like it was no, it was that way. Then I was breastfeeding, so it was like no. But like I said, those bonds were built off of me just strictly doing those things. And because I'm so strong in my religion now, I don't want to live in sin no more. And I don't judge nobody for that because I was once that person. You never look down on the next person, first of all. Second of all, I ain't God. So I'm not, who am I to judge anybody? But it's not easy because it's some people I really wish just didn't have to go the wrong way. But, and it's not even like a beef or anything. We may have just stopped talking or it may have been some type of separation. Now, I personally, I don't look at it as beef because I still talk to the person. I'm not speaking about nobody specifically, but I'll still talk to a person. I'll still be there. I'll still do whatever. But if you can't respect my boundary, then I will step back and I will pull myself away from you. Like I don't invite me into places you know I'm not okay with. Don't put me in environments you know I'm not okay with. And it's just like if you continuously do things that I ask you not to do, I will remove myself. So I feel like in that way, it can affect friendships and all because a person doesn't understand how much you have changed over the time or from who you used to be. And I just think sometimes I think I be the problem, but when you self reflect and you look over everything that was done, it's just like I'm not the problem. I just changed and they can't accept it. Like having a baby doesn't just change, oh, my body was stretched out, I have stretch marks. No. Literally your whole mindset, it's like a shift. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a on and off button, the light switch. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just it puts you in a different state. And because I was already working on trying to get closer to God, this is why I feel like my baby was a blessing because I was already trying to get closer to God. So her being like I was pregnant, y'all, when I got baptized, and I did not know. That was my start of me being. I asked God to help me be sober for 6 months. I got baptized. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So he set me down for longer than that and changed my appetite. I don't even want to drink, smoke, do those things. I used to smoke back in like 2023, and my New Year's resolution for 2023 actually was to stop smoking. And I did it. I'm 3 years in. As far as alcohol, I'm 1 year in. So thank God I'm a year and some, is it some months? A year and some months. But yeah, I did it, y'all. That's my whole point. My daughter really changed every area of my life. She did. I don't want to live in sin no more. And I thank God for that. That's what you call good wisdom and discernment. Now, the science behind just being distant, I think it's also because moms kind of trying to figure out how they can still be there for themselves after having a baby and still figure out who they are outside of being a mom also kind of creates distance. I know one thing I did say helped me because I did, don't get me wrong, there was a night where I did drink and I was out with my friends. There was that one night I went out with my friend racing, drinking, whatever. I did. Like a year, it was over a year ago. It was after her for sure. And I went out with him. And we all just had a ball. And it made me feel good because I was going through postpartum depression. And it made me feel normal. Right? But mind you, I'm still trying to keep on track with my religion and stay focused on God, right? Yeah. It felt good and it made me feel what I called normal because I was going through postpartum depression and I was in this phase and I had this feeling in my mind to the point where I was like, okay, I want to do that again. And then I had to think like, no, that's sin. You're drinking. You're doing these things that you cannot continue to do. That's what you call conviction. And like I said, wisdom. So I think I did tell people do what you used to do prior to having a baby because sometimes that little feeling can give you a mindset of peace and comfort and oh I can do these things because I also feel like a lot of people change from after having a baby, thinking that they can't do certain things just because they had a baby. And no, that's not the case. And I'm learning that right now, actually. I've been doing things that I wouldn't normally do. I've been getting out more. I've been in a little more peaceful space. If you saw Mental Health Monday, then you know I said that um the trip that I just recently went on really helped me a lot, because I was always in mommy mode, and I told myself when I go on this trip, I want to have myself a ball. My baby is gonna be with the babysitters, and we gonna go and have us a ball. And that's exactly what I did. I kind of stayed in that mindset probably like a week after we got back from the trip. That helped me as well. I didn't care if I was sleepy, if I was tired. I surrounded myself with people that made me happy, and I just pushed myself and just did it. I don't even know. Like, one day you just gonna wake up and just do it. Now, I am still struggling with postpartum depression. Excuse me. I am still struggling with postpartum depression, but I don't think it's as bad. I'm hoping that this is the end. They say when you get to the end and be a little, So I'm hoping this is the end, and I'm coming up out of this thing and I don't feel no feelings no more. But whatever's in God's story for me, He built me for this. If I wasn't meant for it, I wouldn't go through it. So everything that He do is intentional. I can't be mad at it. Because I also can't let the bad outweigh the good. I gotta know, you gotta realize the blessing in these things. You cannot focus on how bad things are going. You got to look at what God did do for you. Oh, I woke up this morning. I opened my eyes this morning. I'm able to walk. I'm able to use my hands. Some people have mobility issues. You got to thank God for the little things, and not just for the, oh my God, He blessed me with a new job and I got more money. No, He woke me up this morning. I actually have a car to drive. I actually have transportation to this job. Like, things like that we don't, little things that we don't appreciate. No, I feel like I covered everything as far as how it affects friendships. Me personally, that's just how my experience went with it. I don't know about anybody else. I can speak for me. Okay, me and me. I just think also with friends, keeping the communication is key too. Like, when you're going through things, you gotta let them know, like, hey, I'm going through this. This is what's going on. I'm struggling in this area. I'm still here. I still love you. Sometimes just a little check-in matters. And I think yeah, I did. I feel like I kept my friends in updates of what's been going on and how I'm dealing with things, and how y'all know what I'm trying to say. How I'm dealing with the stuff that I'm going through. I did keep them updated with those things, but I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how, like, at what point the actual distance got there, but I do know I still kept my friends in the loop because I didn't want them to feel like it was something they did, or how some people be like, "Oh, she acting weird." I didn't want them to think that, because I'm not. I'm just going through things, and vice versa. I've never put my emotions or my feelings before my friends or whatever they're going through to the side and just listen to me. No, if I'm going through stuff, but you're going through stuff too, so I'm willing to hear you out. I always tell my friends, don't feel like you can't come to me just because of what I'm going through. Now, it was times where, like, people may have texted me, and because I don't have the mental capacity for myself, I couldn't give them what they would usually expect from me. So I'm usually the type that would try to pour from an empty cup. If the cup ain't even empty, if it's a little bit of something, a little drop of water in there, I'll, try to give that. But postpartum depression is so different that you can't even push yourself to do that. Like, it's like you're mentally and physically drained. And also, your friends or whatever, if they never experienced it, they won't understand it. It's something that you really have to go through to understand. No matter how much I tried to tell my friends what it was, they did not get it. They will say, "Oh, I'm here for you. I love you," this, and I appreciate those things. But actually understanding postpartum depression, you have to experience it. You have to go through it too. And I don't wish it on nobody. I'm just saying, if if you've been through it, you know what I mean. Like, it's not something you could just say, "Oh, you're going through depression." It's not like regular depression. That's another thing I feel like friends didn't understand. It's not regular depression. You can't just get up and push yourself like a regular depressing person it can. Like depressive person can. My experience with it, no. It's not just easy. First of all, you in your head about being a good mom, finding yourself, what do I want to do today? I want to do this, but I feel so trapped in my head that I can't. I always tell people it feel like you just in a cage in your mind. It's like a never ending cycle. Like it's just not gonna stop. And it hurts. It does. Cause at some point you start to feel like this is never gonna change. I'm tired of going through this. It's never gonna end. And I had a friend, one of my friends, she actually has a baby. She probably was the one that was there for me the most early postpartum. She told me she didn't go through postpartum depression, but she felt it, and when she felt it coming, she just went back to work and she just never felt it after that. But she was trying her best to get me out. And I remember I felt so bad when she told me she was feeling it because at the time I didn't have a daughter. I wasn't even pregnant. She was telling me, she felt it, it was a little ups and downs. And I remember her saying her pregnancy wasn't that fun, it wasn't that good. And I feel like I tried as much as I could, but I did apologize for her when I had my daughter. I was like, I'm so sorry for not being there for you enough because this is a lie. She was like, oh no, I didn't go through it, but you okay, sis? Like, we've been friends since Lord knows where. I don't even know. It's been a long, 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 long time. But she she was there for me the most, I would say, in the beginning because she would try to push me to get out on my own. Her and my mom were like planning stuff together to get me out the house, but it was such a struggle. I remember me and her dad tried to go on a date, y'all. We went on a date to Krusty Krab. All I could think about was going home and getting in my bed. And even before we left out to go to Krusty, I cried. I struggled. I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I can't. I don't know what it was, y'all, but I just like I can't do it. I can't. I just want to be at home. And like I said, I was used to that. I was used to just being at home. So I don't know what made it. Like, I really couldn't tell you. I really just think it's the hormones, postpartum depression. I don't know. But she was trying. She tried to get me out. She tried to, she was definitely one of the main ones I kept in contact with. She knew when my daughter was first born. She came to see her. Nova did have a godmom, but unfortunately that took a turn. Who I called the godmom, well, she was in the loop of things. I kept her updated. We were really close up until, again, Nova got here. Things just changed, and the communication between me and her wasn't really like I explained to her, but I don't know. A part of me feel like she may have had her own things going on and didn't communicate, but I can't say. But that definitely, I just feel like communication is one of the main things that you got to focus on when dealing with depression. And every day is not going to be easy. Sometimes you just don't even feel like warning people, but the communication is important. Because again, you don't want your friends to feel like, oh, it's them and you're being weird. And honestly, if they're a real friend, they're not even gonna think that far. But that's just me. That's just how I'm thinking and what y'all, I don't know. Me personally, I don't feel like my friends really felt the way about, well, the one that had the son already. I don't think she felt the way, but there was this distance between us that wasn't normally there. And that kind of, I'm like, okay, I need to talk to her. I need to tell her what's going on. Because I did kind of isolate myself. But again, the communication is important because it's not personal. I'm not taking nothing out on you. I just need some time to get myself together. But guess what she said? I know you. I understand. You didn't even have to tell me that because she got it. That's why you got to talk to your people, y'all. But I think I covered everything for this episode. And before we close out, I do want to say something about me not wanting to leave. I mainly wanted to be with my daughter. Being away from her was kind of triggering because I felt like she was my only piece. So I did want to stick beside my girl. And I remember people used to say, this not off topic, but I didn't show my daughter face. I have a visitor, y'all. So if y'all hear her, I didn't show my daughter face on social media for like a year until she turned 1. And it was because I just wanted to keep her safe with me. Like, I want my baby to myself. It wasn't me hiding because I saw a post too. People be like, they hide their kids because they ugly. No, my daughter was my piece, and I wanted to keep her to myself while I was going through postpartum depression. It was just that deep for me. Like, when you go through postpartum depression, you understand how deep it is. But that is another reason I struggled with leaving. And because she was so young, I didn't start bringing her out in public until she was 4 months. That was my whole thing. I was like, she's not coming out until she's 4 months, especially because she was born in October around cold and flu season. So I just wasn't comfortable with that. I remember she was 2 weeks old. I drove all the way to Target to go get her. I mean, to go out. Okay, I remember I drove all the way to Target, y'all, and she was in the car. She was only 2 or 3 weeks old, and I turned back around and went home. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do it. But yeah, that was something that I just wanted to put in there. And also, if you are someone that do not have a baby, check on your mommy friends. Please check on your mommy friends. Like, don't expect her to just come to you. Like, you can't expect a fresh mom to come to you and expect that person to just show up how they used to be. They're not going to be there no more. And even if it is someone that stayed the same after having a baby, okay, that's different. But most women do change. I'm speaking from my experience. Do not expect a new mom to be ready to do these certain things and get back into the road and get back on. No, check on her because it's not always easy. But I did want to just share that with y'all. So episode 5 will be out in the next 2 weeks. Y'all already know we doing every other Thursday, y'all. Every other Thursday. I don't know when I'm gonna get my battery for the camera, so y'all might see me on the phone. Y'all might see me on the camera. I'm not 100%. Okay. All right. I will see y'all in episode 5. Make sure y'all share this with y'all mommy friends, mommy family members. Like, comment, interact, and subscribe. And I also posted Mental Health Monday on where did I post it? In the YouTube short. So make sure y'all check that out. And I will also link the Instagram. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye bye, mommy. Have a little visitor say bye bye, mommies. Bye bye, mommies. Say bye bye, mommy. Bye. Say see you later. Later. Say see you soon. See you soon. Say mommy. Say scuba. Scuba. Say bye bye. Really?